Ashley Bookstrom, and I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing one of my first goal videos for 2020. Like, I feel like everybody does these every year, like top XYZ books that I want to start or finish or whatever in 2020. And I was supposed to do Vlogmas, but I opted not to do Vlogmas this year because it's just, it would have been too much just with the baby and stuff. So maybe when she's older next year, I'll do Vlogmas. But this year, I just was like, not really feeling like doing it this year. So what I am going to be doing though is talking about some series that I want to finish in 2020. Now, these are not all the series that I want to finish, but like kind of just looking at my shelves, particularly on this side of the room, because on the other side of the room I have a lot of my adult and comic books and graphic novels and manga, and I may do something separate for those. I haven't really decided yet, but a lot of the stuff that I want to finish that's series based is either adult, contemporary slash historical fiction slash romance, or YA. So that's usually where the series get pretty intense. So I have a couple that I'm going to show you. Not a couple, probably quite a bit. I may have to limit myself to like 10 to keep it realistic. Now that I'm looking at my shelf and I'm like, oh gosh, like I didn't include this and I didn't include that. So we're going to keep it realistic, and I'm only going to do a small amount. I don't know what that number will be just yet because I won't know that number until I actually get finished filming. But we're going to go ahead, jump in and get started since the video is not too long. Okay, so the first series that I have is the Covenant series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is probably one of her lesser known series. I don't really see a lot of people talk about these at all. It's a young adult paranormal series, kind of has some mythology elements to it. It is about these group of people that are descendants from gods and mortals, and the children of, I always forget the names of these, but the descendants from the gods and the mortals, like when I think about it in terms of Percy Jackson, is half-bloods. In this book, they're called Hamatoi, and then when you have a Hamatoi mate with another Hamatoi, you get purebloods, and then when you get Hamatoi and mortals, you get half-bloods. So it's a little bit more complex than the Percy Jackson world. It goes a little bit beyond just the initial lineage, and it's about this girl by the name of Alex who has left this kind of world and environment and makes her way back, and some weird things start happening. I have read Half-Blood, and I have also read the second one, Pure, but I have not read the other ones. I am currently listening to Half-Blood again because I didn't remember anything. So then after that, I will go back and listen to Pure. And some of these books, they're not really chunky. They're the self-published books, so I think they feel a little bit heavier than they would typically feel. But the third book is Deity, and the fourth book is Apollyon, and the fifth book is Sentinel. And these actually have a spin-off series that focuses on one of the characters that is in this first group that I really, really like. So that's another reason for me to finish the series. The next series that I have, I'm ashamed to say I have not finished, and it's awful that I have not finished it because I read the first book, I think in 2014 or 2015, one of the two, not too long ago. I mean, not too long ago, a super long time ago, and I still haven't finished it. And it is the Wrath and the Dawn duology. So I have read the Wrath and the Dawn, and this is one that I actually got assigned when Renee Audier made her way to Y'all Fest a long time ago, and I still haven't finished it, y'all. So it's the Wrath and the Dawn, and then the Rose and the Dagger. It's so unfortunate that I haven't finished this yet. So the next series that I have is actually a trilogy, and it's one that I think does not get enough hype on BookTube, and that is the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy. So the first book is the Girl of Fire and Thorns. The second book is, if I can get it up, The Crown of Embers, and the third book is The Bitter Kingdom. So I have read the first two, The Girl of Fire and Thorns and The Crown of Embers, and I need to finish The Bitter Kingdom. However, I don't remember anything. I know that this is a series about a girl who is a chosen one, and what ends up happening is that she has, I think, this jewel in her stomach that people really want, and people try to kill her for it. But it's so much more complex than that. I really, really remember loving all of the two books that I read, and I have a finish. Okay, so let me just take this pause and do a sidebar. I have a problem finishing series, not because I don't have the time to, but because sometimes I get so engrossed in the world that I don't want to finish and leave the world. I have separation anxiety issues when it comes to finishing series. That's exactly what it is, to be quite honest with you. The next series that I have here is a booktube darling, a favorite, one that everybody has finished. She has gone on to write 4 other books outside of the series, and I don't feel right reading anything else that she has written until I finish the series, and it is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So I have read Cinder, which is the first book, Scarlet, which is the second book, but I have not read Cress or Winter or the novellas that are part of the series. So everybody pretty much knows what Lunar Chronicles is. It's a sci-fi retelling of traditional fairy tales. The first one is Cinderella, the second one is Little Red Riding Hood, the third one is a Rapunzel retelling, and Winter is a Snow White retelling, and they're all linked together. They all live in this kingdom, and there is an evil queen who is I guess somehow wrapped into all of this. I don't really remember. I remember bits and pieces of the series, but not so much. That's what happens when you start series and there's such a huge gap in between you finishing the books. So this is one, once again, where I need to reread the first 2 so I can jump to the third one. And then the last one is super, super long. I know it doesn't look long, but I remember when it first released and everybody was like, holy crap, this is like Bible thin pages, and we didn't expect it to be this long type of thing. Like, this one doesn't look like it's not that long, and it's 550 pages. Just is freaking ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you. The next series is another one that I'm ashamed of because she just published her first adult book this year. This series has a spin-off duology. It's getting a TV show, and I still haven't done it, and I just don't know why. And that is the first 3 books in this whole Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo. Okay, so the first book is Shadow and Bone. The second book is Siege and Storm. And the third book is Ruin and Rising. And I read Shadow and Bone when I took a YA lit class and loved it. I mean, loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I have a review on my blog. Completely and totally loved it. Why I didn't pick up book 2 and 3, I don't know. I don't know. But I need to finish this because I need to read 6 of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have heard so many great things about them, and that, and then there's King of Scars, which is about a character from, I need to finish this stuff, and I wonder if I need to make some of this stuff a priority in the beginning of next year. That way I can actually stick to my guns and be like, you know what? I really do need to finish this stuff. So this next one, I'm ashamed that it's still on this list because this is the 3rd time that I have gone into a new year and have not finished these books. It is disappointing, it is awful, and I need to be thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly ashamed of myself. And this author appears twice on this list, and I brag about him all the time. It's like, how can I brag about an author and I haven't finished barely anything by him? And that is the Reckoner trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. So I have read Steelheart by him, which I loved. I have read Firefight by him, and I have not read Calamity. So it is super unfortunate because this is, I think this is technically like genuinely the 3rd time that I've gone into a new year and I have not read Calamity yet, and it's super sad that I haven't. And I think the reason why I haven't read it yet is because every person that I've seen that's read Calamity was slightly disappointed, because I think a lot of things from Firefight and Steelheart were not answered in Calamity, and I am super concerned because this one ended in a way that was like, it was crazy. It's just a crazy ending in this one. And I recently reread both of those along with the novella Mitosis. So I remember quite a bit from these books. So I literally could pick up Calamity in January and be perfectly fine without having to reread these books. And clearly I loved them, y'all. Firefight is the annotations in Firefight are just amazeballs. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so the next series that I have here is one that I brag about a lot, and I have not finished it, and it's going to include the spinoff. And I'm so upset that I haven't finished it, because these books, I always say, are like the YA version of Game of Thrones, and I wish that more people would have read them, and a lot of people on BookTube haven't read them, but it is the Fallen King. Oh, I can't even get it. I can't even hold them up. It's the Fallen Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. So the first book in this series is Fallen Kingdoms, Rebel Spring, Gathering Darkness, Frozen Tides, Crystal Storm, and Immortal Rain. So I have read books 1 through 4. I just need to read these two. And then there is a spin-off series. The first one is A Book of Spirits and Thieves, and the second one is The Darkest Magic. Now, this series was supposed to have a third book, but due to low publishing numbers, which makes me so upset, she will not be publishing book 3. And it's heartbreaking because I heard that the way that book 6 ends in the original trilogy, it leaves you with answers that she was going to answer. It leaves you with questions that she was going to answer in the third book. And because she couldn't publish it, we don't get all the answers. And that's super disappointing. That's beyond super disappointing. Like, that's really heartbreaking. So that's what's been holding me up on reading that one. Because I know that I will not get closure. And it's super, super frustrating, but I have to do a hard reread of the entire series because I don't remember much of anything about it. I just know that a lot of people that I was attached to did not live. So that's what was so remarkable about this for me, this experience. But I'm definitely going to have to reread all these. So this is a lot for me to reread. And I may need to like plan it out in a very unique way in order for me to do and, you know, accomplish that goal. Okay, so the next series I have is, I wouldn't say that this is a YouTube darling series, but it kind of is because a lot of people like it. I saw a lot of people read it this year, and I read the first book a long time ago and really, really enjoyed it and never got to the rest of them, and I need to because this ties into a much bigger world, and this writer is amazing. And that is the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. So of course the first book is Mistborn, the second book is The Well of Ascension, and the third book is The Hero of Ages. And then I have the book in between, which is, that's the first trilogy, and then I have the book in between the first trilogy and the second trilogy, and that is Owl of Law, before I think we start the Wax and Wane trilogy. So, and I like this one because like this is the UK cover, and I like the UK covers of his books. It's really, really nice, and it throws the lighting off completely to hold that book up. So clearly, I really, really like Mistborn annotations. I was annotating before we all started doing, like, annotating became like our BookTube thing. And I really, really enjoyed it. I remember it being such a complex world. It's a long book. It's over 600 pages, but I couldn't tell because it was just so engaging and so fun. And these are not like easy books to read. I mean, they're not, when I say easy, they're not books that you could just sit down and like, oh my gosh, I'm going to read this book right now. It takes a little bit of time. but I really enjoyed them. The magic system, the metals that they can use to control these powers, and the fact that they're trying to overthrow this evil lord type guy. It's great, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But I need to spend some time going back, rereading Mistborn, and making my way through the trilogy, reading Alloy of Law, so I can finally get to the other series, and then finally get to his other books, so I can finally say that I have read the books in the Cosmere universe. I was supposed to participate in this Cosmere read-along this year, and I failed. But granted, I was pregnant for most of the year, from January to September, so that changes a lot of things. The next series that I need to finish is so basic that I don't know why I haven't finished it yet, because I really like the first two books, and I really need to just have read the third book, and I still haven't done it. And it is the Anna and the French Kiss trilogy by Stephanie Perkins. So I have read Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door. I have not read Isla and the Happily Ever After. I really enjoyed the first two books, and these books are a fun YA contemporary trilogy, and they are closely related. I want to say like more like companion novels than direct sequels. It's cool because you see characters from previous books popped up in each subsequent book. So in that case, I would definitely say try to read them in order if you can, just because you get, you know, a better fulfillment out of it. But I read these in like a couple of days. So why I haven't finished them yet, I don't know. Hopefully next year. I don't know if I want to do a reread yet. We'll see. So the next couple of books, and I kind of turned to the side because I got to turn to kind of get them off my shelf. The next three series are BookTube darlings. Like like they are. The BookTube darlings, everybody's read them, everybody loves them, but I haven't finished them yet. I don't know. So the first two that I'm going to go over are ones that are by the same author. She's a fan favorite. I think she's also classified as a problematic writer, but she writes some really just stories that people gush for. And that is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So I own three of them. They're not in order. So I own the first book, which is Throne of Glass. I do not have a copy of Crown of Midnight, which is the second book. Heir of Fire, which is the third book. Queen of Shadows, which is the fourth book. But I do have a copy of Empire Storms, which is the fifth book. Tower of Dawn, which is the sixth book. And then I do not have a copy of the series of novellas that fit into this, nor do I own a copy of the final one, which is Kingdom of Ash. So before I purchase anything, I do need to go back and reread Throne of Glass. So I read Throne of Glass when it was first getting a lot of buzz. I think I read it in like 2014. This was before Queen of Shadows came out, I believe. I think that was before Queen of Shadows came out. And I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars, but I did not keep up with the series, and I don't remember anything from it. I just know it's about an assassin, and that a lot of people love it, and that the books end up being super, super long, and that Kingdom of Ash is hellishly long, almost 1,000 pages, and has Bible thin, and that a lot of people, it depends on who you talk to on which book is their favorite type of thing. So, but hopefully next year we may make this a thing. And the other series by Sarah J. Maas, of course, that everybody knows, is the Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. I feel like a lot of people are like one or the other. Like they usually either love A Court of Thorns and Roses better, or they love Throne of Glass better. I think I may end up liking A Court of Thorns and Roses better because I have read the first one, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I think I read about 200 pages of A Court of Mist and Fury and really liked it. I stopped for some reason and I don't remember why. I think because I wanted to annotate it, and then I was like, but I need to go back and reread A Court of Thorns and Roses and annotate that. So that's crazy. And then I have not read, of course, A Court of Mist and A Court of Wings and Ruin. and I do not own a copy of the novella A Court of Frost and Starlight, which everyone universally hates. But I do want to get to these next year because I think that the next trilogy in the series is supposed to be coming out next year. I know she has a completely different book coming out next year, so I'll be interested in seeing what that book is like, because I kind of like her. I like her writing style. I mean, I can see where her characters are kind of like problematic in some ways, but she can write a good story. I give that to her. So the next series that I'm going to show you is going to be representative of a lot of books, because the world is just that big and complex, and like this, I feel like there's like 20 books in this series, and I'm never going to catch up because every time I try to catch up, she's writing another damn book, and I'm just irritated and frustrated at this point. So, but I'm going to do the damn thing. I'm going to do it. Like if there's nothing that I do next year, this is the series that I need to catch up on. She's got another one coming out, I think in like April, and some people have already gotten arcs of it. So that shows you how far behind I am. And I'm going to try to hold up all these books, but it's a lot. And that is the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. And then, in addition to the Mortal Instrument series, I also own the Infernal Devices. So, I have actually read quite a bit of these, but I'm in the process of doing a reread because I read them so long ago, and I don't really remember everything. When I have started my reread this year, and there were a couple things that I did remember. So, the first one that I did do a reread of course, is the first book, which is City of Bones, which I annotated because I'm rereading and annotating all of them. Then there's City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, and City of Lost Souls is where I stopped. I did not read this one. I liked the first trilogy. I hated this book because I didn't feel like it had a purpose. So I think that I stopped and didn't want to read this one because of the fact that I did not like City of Fallen Angels so much. Of course, the last one is City of Heavenly Fire, which everyone really seems to enjoy. I love the Infernal Devices and liked it so much better than the Mortal Instruments, but I know just for the sake of understanding the whole world that it's important to read them in certain orders and to read all of them. So I have read Clockwork Angel, I have read Clockwork Prince, but I have not read Clockwork Princess. So we're gonna see how that goes. I will make a plan, y'all. I will make a plan. I was supposed to have a plan going into the fall of this year, but I had my daughter, so that of course didn't last long. All right, y'all, so that is it. Those are the series I need to finish in 2019. That's a lot of books. A lot of them I have to reread when I have all these books on my shelves that I have not read. So, you know, this is just completely and totally great. I'm absolutely loving it. Let me know in the comments below what series you need to finish next year. If there's any series on here that you need to finish that you haven't finished yet, hit me up on social media, either in the comments below, DM me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram, so we can do a buddy read. I need someone to motivate me, and if you are that person, please contact me at your earliest convenience. All right, y'all. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button. If you're interested in following me on social media, all of my links will be down in the description box. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.